We are live. Welcome to the Stay in Your Lane podcast. Over here, we got a lot of conversation. This is somewhere you could come to and let off a little steam. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Come in, hang out with us, and stay in your lane because you would get you would get it popping. It gets get a little triggered. We ain't taking no crap over here. We're gonna wait for the first 2 minutes to go by before we start using profanity. So you can hit us. But we got Mr. 12 over there. Hopefully, we got a few more friends coming through to discuss some topics going on in the urban community inside of, just not normal things going on today. We're going to talk about a few things. So,
Mm,
joining me, this is the first episode one, Stay in Your Lane. And if you don't know what Stay in Your Lane is at this point, you're going to learn. You're going to learn today. If you're old enough, you're going to learn. So how's it going? Thanks for joining me today and on the Staying Late cast.
yeah, what's up? What's up, man? It's good. It's good to be here. You see, I joined one. You invite me back, so see
Yeah,
how. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. It's a couple of things on here we could definitely touch, but I think we needed somewhere where we can talk about things going on in our community, in the black community, in America, in our government, you know, and we got some topics today we're gonna touch on. We got Diddy. We're gonna talk about Diddy. Diddy's
Diddy.
like a new punchline today. Everything's going on with Diddy, whether he's essay somebody, a lot of victims are coming out, a lot of people are
Yup.
coming out and talking. People that were incriminated in the crimes were able to deal with the feds were able to go to them indirectly and talk to them. So there's a lot of people against Diddy. We
Wow.
also got a couple of talks with Dr. Umar when he talking about the state of hip hop and what has hip hop done for the
Yeah.
community since it's been 50 years since hip hop has been with us. And then
Wow.
another artist I want to get into is Ice Spice. Is she an industry plan or not? Those are a few things. So how's your day been? What's been going on in your community? Because we all got different communities going on. No matter where you live, what your color is, you in a different space.
Man, I went to a picnic today, so I was just chilling out. I was actually went to this nice establishment in Naugatuck. I think it was something senior. It was a Mexican nice establishment. They had a nice backyard um restaurant thing. They had an outdoor volleyball and yeah, man, I was living it up, man. Just, and taking in that Mexican culture, embracing the food, you know.
So is it like a Mexican restaurant or
Yeah, it was a Mexican restaurant. It's out there in Naugatuck.
Naugatuck?
Yeah. It's a
What's
nice. It was
you
nice.
remember
It's
the
nice.
name of it?
I can't remember like Senior Panchor or something like that, but it's in the cut. It's
Okay.
nice. It's a big well, it was a decent sized restaurant, but they had a outside patio with decks and everything, so you could host like a company event. So that was pretty nice. We had a lot of fun games and stuff like that. So it was nice. It was nice.
That's good. That's good. I haven't been to a picnic in a while, but it's all that was done by the job.
Yeah, it was done by the company. Yeah.
That's cool. Is that a once a year, one a year thing, or
Yeah, that's kind of similar to the one that used to bring me to when I was a kid.
the picnic company picnic?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, man. It's when you get older and you start doing things, those are things that come up that you don't really think about till you get older. You be like, man, I really, really enjoy those times.
Yeah,
So we're gonna start jumping into our topic. We may have more people come through and check us out. If not, hopefully we'll see them on the next episode. But
definitely.
it's been a while coming for this channel. We do have a couple of other channels, but we can't talk about what we're going to talk about here on the other channel. We're going to separate that to another pandemic issue. So, um, you see the tag on the wall, things found at Diddy's house. And when you look at it, you kind of like, what could they possibly find at Diddy's house that's so, when has it been not okay to be a freak?
Oh,
Hey,
man.
I'm not trying to be phase on love, but that's something that nigga said. But he's just dumber than dumb. So got a couple of snippets here about this is a true crime video. It's not too long, but we're gonna watch not all of it, but a couple things to talk about. When it comes to Diddy and some of the things they found at his place. So let's watch a little bit off of the first clip. You got anything to say about the whole?
No, what I want to say is just this is going to be new to me. So, um, I
What do
was,
you mean, as far as the Diddy allegations and things like that?
yeah, it's like I really haven't been entrenched into the Diddy world as to say like what's going on. And I seen one and two clips, but I didn't dig into it. It's
Okay,
like it's like me. It's like damn. Yeah.
I feel you on that. I did do a few reactions to Diddy on the other channel a while back when he first got indicted. It's actually been 6 months, and that's when I started the channel about 6 months ago, which
Wow.
is pretty insane. But well, everybody kind of know Diddy was compromised a while now. A lot of things, even when you go back to the Shine case,
Okay.
and even though things in the industry didn't come out, it seems like people in the urban community kind of had an idea of things that was going on in the industry because we all heard about it. We just couldn't clarify whether it was true or not, but we all heard about Diddy doing the shoot and then Shine going to jail. And then now Shine is coming out and basically speaking on it, saying that he was set up and Diddy went against him. Then we find out in this some of this lawsuit that happened, that Little Rod file, that the J Lo brought the gun into the nightclub, and it was Diddy that used it to shoot the lady. But Shine took the hit. He went to jail. Diddy might have put a little money in this thing, but there's a lot of things coming out now where they're basically saying Diddy is worse than Weinstein
Um.
and Epstein.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. It goes into detail about trafficking, about and it's not just in and out of the country; it's over state lines.
wow.
And when they did one of these raids, they were able to find a lot of video information. They weren't looking for so they needed video because they found out he recorded a lot of his stuff. So once they find the video, that's all they really need. You ain't gotta tell me you was at the party. I saw you was at the party. You know what I mean? So what happened is when he had these freak offs, I guess, people would get trafficked in for these parties and it would last. I guess you could say it's almost like a swinger orgy party. It will last a couple days,
Wow.
maybe 2 days, because in the report they kind of stated that after the freak off, they need to get IVs to rejuvenate. So how much exertion are you doing to need an IV to get? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much do you need? So it's definitely something that Diddy's just Diddying, he the diddler. And what I'm finding out a lot of times was like he used a lot of like liquid. I don't think I could say that word on here, but we could always sort of pink stuff in the champagne bottle. The Oh yeah, he used to put the cocaina and the Molly and stuff like that inside of the
Okay.
bottles, which was specially set aside for the guests, for the
Wow.
women, yeah, it
Wow.
wasn't just women, for the men too. That was guests, and then he wanted to exploit them in a certain allegedly. Don't come
Okay.
at me, but he has been indicted, And the feds has like a 98% conviction rate when they do these cases. So I don't think Diddy's seen the daylight again because the industry is finished with him. It's not just us. It's because you could see the downfall when he lost everything from the Ciroc, which he never really truly owned, and 50 exposed that a couple years ago, with the deal that Diddy had. He was getting 60 million a year, but he actually didn't own it. He was just his name on it, and that's why once all this Diddy stuff happened, you see all these companies jump in ship and be like, oh, I don't want to be part of that. And be like, wait, how could he not be a part of it when he owned the damn thing? And then you find out, oh, no, he didn't own it. He just bought into it,
Wow.
But yeah, that's why I wanted to touch on this because there's so many different angles you can go about this Diddy case. There's so many angles, there's so many victims in this situation where, you think about when they were doing the MTV shows for Making of the Band, and they were selecting different contestants to join different groups that he had put together. And then you think about all the essay stuff he did to some of these people, some of the stuff they did. And it's only now that a lot of them are coming out and talking about it. But it's definitely was sad to see and hear about it. And now that he's been arrested, a lot more people are coming out and speaking, which is cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna hop into the first one. We're gonna catch a little bit and then we're gonna talk about it a little more. But
Okay.
this is basically gonna we're gonna go into things found at Diddy's house. Like so let's see some of the stuff found at Diddy's house.
We're now getting a closer look at the mountains of evidence federal investigators collected at the homes of P Diddy leading up to his indictment. This includes things like guns, ammunition, electronic evidence, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant. To understand all this and how it relates to Diddy's case, we're hearing from former CIA officer and FBI agent Tracy Walder. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. Major news this week out of New York, where now disgraced rapper Sean P. Diddy Combs was arrested and taken into custody. On Monday, a grand jury indicted him on multiple federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Homeland Security took Diddy into custody at the Park Hyatt in New York. According to his legal team, Diddy's been in the city for the past week ahead of these anticipated charges. So Diddy may have had a heads up that these charges were on the way, but it wasn't a complete surprise to the rest of us either. Federal investigators issued search warrants on 2 of Diddy's homes this spring, and that's when experts told us it's not if, but when Diddy will be arrested. We couldn't confirm then that Diddy was the target of the search, but we had a good idea what investigators were looking for: electronic evidence of alleged illegal acts like sexual assault or racketeering. These allegations date back to November of last year, when Cassandra Ventura, known publicly as the singer Cassie, filed civil suit against Diddy. She laid out some major claims against him, saying over the course of their relationship, Diddy physically and emotionally abused her, forced her to carry illegal weapons, and even made her have sex with prostitutes. The lawsuit was settled outside of court just one day after it was filed, but it was just the start of the wave of lawsuits that Diddy would soon face. Over the next few months, multiple other accusers came forward with civil suits, alleging Diddy's pattern of sexual abuse dated back as far as the 1990s. A civil suit filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, brings these accusations into 2024. According to Lil Rod's lengthy suit, Diddy is the kingpin in a gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking scheme. Lil Rod also accused Diddy of sexual assault and echoed Cassie's allegation that Diddy forced him to have sex with a prostitute. Lil Rod's lawsuit includes something else that may have piqued the Fed's interest. He alleges there are hundreds of hours of video and audio recordings of Diddy's illegal behavior. We now know this is what the feds were searching for on March 25th, when they executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. At the time, we only speculated that investigators collected electronic evidence, but now we know for sure. According to the indictment against Diddy, investigators seized more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from his home. The court doc states these items were used in something referred to as freak-offs, which were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. So Diddy's business employees allegedly facilitated these freak-offs by stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with the requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. So these items were collected during the federal raids, including narcotics and hundreds of bottles of lube and baby oil. There were also electronic files of these freak-offs, and the feds collected those too. In addition to all this, investigators seized AR-15 guns, ammunition, and a large-capacity drum magazine from Diddy's home. Since those raids in March, federal prosecutors have been crafting their case against Diddy, which led to grand jury proceedings against him. So he was indicted on Monday and taken into custody, and on Tuesday, that indictment was unsealed. Also on Tuesday, Diddy appeared in federal court where he pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. During the hearing, Diddy was also denied bail, a federal judge ruling he must remain in custody until trial. With all that in mind, let's take a closer look at what exactly the feds collected from Diddy's homes.
Here we go.
For that, we turn to former CIA officer and FBI agent
Get into the meat now.
This indictment that just came down, I know we were kind of expecting it to happen, but when it did, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I had expected, and I'd said before that I thought we'd get an indictment within 6 to 9 months. People weren't happy with me because they thought that was just too long. But it was almost exactly 6 months, actually, since the warrants were served on both of his homes. I think it's not a surprise to me because I'm glad he's being charged with this. I wholeheartedly thought that he would have a RICO, a racketeering charge. I knew that would be something that they would get him on. I was concerned that they wouldn't get him on human trafficking because sometimes that can be really difficult to prove. And I just always worry that those cases fall through the cracks and then justice isn't served for the victims. And so I was pleased to see that he was charged with that, so that hopefully he could be held accountable.
Much of the evidence that the prosecution now has against Diddy came from the federal raids. Talking about a federal search warrant, what does that look like, just generically?
Right. So in this case, and I don't recall if I talked to you about this or maybe Jesse, but when that warrant was served back in March, the question is if they served the warrant, why can't they just arrest him? And again, as you mentioned, they probably didn't have enough evidence at that time to do so. However, to get a warrant like that, where it's served simultaneously and in a surprising manner, they really had to prove one of two things, the first being that evidence was imminently going to be destroyed, or that the lives of people were in danger. I believe that it was the former that they were probably able to prove, is that evidence may have been going to be destroyed. And that's why they served the warrants. And that's why they were able to serve the warrants, to preserve that evidence.
I feel like a lot of us who don't have experience in the FBI or CIA, we just picture movies or TV shows.
Yeah, I know it's gonna Hey, welcome to the show, Dre. Are you coming in as transporter?
What up? Yeah. Welcome. Sorry, I'm moving shaking, but I wanted to tap in. Listen, Diddy's on some crazy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Not only the baby oil, but they found 748 toys, man.
Yo. Pause.
748 toys, yo.
Why do you need 748? What's the YouTube word for that? You can't say that. Can you say deal?
Yeah, what's the deal though?
Yeah.
What's the deal though?
What's the deal?
He got? He got. He's
748.
wilding, and when you put it together, it's saying that he going after the fun boys. Not cool.
They also found 1,000 bottles of lubricants, and this is all at his house. 1,000 bottles.
Yeah, why do you need all that?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you got assistants that can run to the store for you. He said it could pop off at any time. He said.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Just always ready, I guess. That's just a lot of different things that's been out about this. Everybody's compromised that's around Diddy right now. Nobody's coming out defending him. No one is, because they don't really know if they're on tape or not. Everybody's compromise has been around him, I think. Did we lose him?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So what do you think so far about he's gonna hop back in at some point? What do you think
it's like a shock, man? It's definitely a shock, man, because that's a lot. That's a lot, man. It's unfortunate, but
yeah, I know. Diddy. Well, you're a lot younger than me, so I know you probably look at Diddy a lot different than I do. So
in what way?
Because the different, like, in every generation see things a little different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the younger kids don't know what the older generation did unless you tell them. So the things that we know, like I would know Diddy did in the 90s because I was around. The younger generation that doesn't know, like, okay, for instance, do you know how many kids don't know Ice Cube was a gangster rapper?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
A lot of them. And they don't know he was because they weren't around for that. And a lot of them aren't going to go back and look that stuff up. So when you look at the past to the present, a lot of the new kids will kind of like, oh, I'm just trying to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about, about all this other stuff if I'm just trying to work a deal. So they don't really care about the past. A lot of them just only care about what's going on now. So they may look at Diddy different. They don't know what he did or how he was.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
What up, 12? What's good with you, man? What's good?
I'm here, man. What up, Dre?
Chilling.
We were kind of just discussing the new generation to the old generation, like us. If there's any different thought behind the Diddy perspective, is there anyone that say, "Oh, he's a different person"? Because we knew him growing up, what he did in the 90s, in the early 2000s, where a lot of the younger generation don't really know what he did back in those days.
I think a lot of people do because even if they don't know directly, they know his classics, they know his work. Internet is up and about. I'm pretty sure as soon as he got dropped, they dug into his past. So I think the younger generation, unless we talking about high schoolers or something like that,
schoolers. So who do you think got Diddy? Because for years he seemed like he was untouchable. For years he seemed like he could get away with anything. Huh?
Allegedly, Orlando Brown got Diddy.
Oh, really? Really? You wanna?
I think Diddy's a product of grooming from
yes.
A lot of record execs and even his own mom. Remember, we talked about it before. How his father was, linked to Bumpy Johnson, and allegedly he became an informant for the CIA and then died. And then the CIA went after his mother. His mom was a madam, and she was pimping women, and before you know it, she was pimping Diddy. And then, and then also the fact that sorry, I'm in the car.
No, you're good. You're good. That's what. This is Staying in Your Lane pod. Everything goes here. Let's do it.
Oh, don't say that. Pause. that's a Diddy put on his front door at his parties, man. What you talking about?
I even gonna lie, bro. If I was in Hollywood, I would have definitely been at Diddy's party.
I know. Freaky ass boy.
Freaky ass.
Boy.
Listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
But this is the thing. And you know what me and my girl was talking about today.
Okay.
You got people who will go to these parties, right?
Yep.
And then, hey, Missy, be quiet. They'll go to these parties, all right? They go the first time, nothing happens. They go the second time, nothing happens, but they see stuff happening to other people. And then they go the third time and then something happens to them. Who do you think is at fault at that point in time?
I'm not sure if anybody can be blamed for that, because here's the thing. Everybody most likely at this party is new going to the party. So a lot of times they don't know. And what happens, I think, is they put trust in a lot of these people, not knowing what type of what's the word? What type of right. You don't really know if they're violent or not. You don't know who they truly are. And you think because they're up in the industry that you can trust them and say, oh, I'm going to leave my kid with this person because you think they're responsible, but a lot of them aren't. So you go to a party and you drink the wrong bottle at a Diddy party and you done. You get that liquid, what is it, pink? What does he call it?
The 2C.
I'm not too sure.
No, the pink one, the liquid something. It's like Molly and cocaine and stuff mixed up in there. And that's just set aside for the... Yeah, he puts it in champagne bottles just for the girls and the guests.
So that's not the 2C?
What's the 2C? I never heard of that.
That's that drug. Remember Jaguar Wright was talking about the 2C.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's what it's called. Yeah, listen. I don't know about you, but I think you would. If I go to a party, I see some crazy shit, for too long. I'm out. Meet me at IHOP. We go and have some breakfast, and they call it a night. You know what I'm saying? Because
I think a lot of those parties happen at certain places, but just everybody wasn't invited in the back room.
Right. Well, they said after a certain time of night, that's when stuff get crazy.
True.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You know what? The reason I wouldn't say that is because when he had these freak offs, they lasted 2 to 3 days, not hours, days. So when these went on, people knew what was going on and how it was going to go down. And the fact that you have to get an IV after a freak off tells me that you were exerting yourself to the point where you weren't eating because you were on certain things that made you not eat, and we know what does that. And
listen, baby oil is not something good to drink. So
also, the crazy thing too is his mom. She was involved in a lot of the stuff. She even wore the white fingernails.
Oh, wait, what?
Yep. I was actually looking at one today. Yeah, his mom wore the white fingernails. So she's the one that used to, I think, started this shit with him.
What is the white fingernail?
The one that wears the white fingernail is kind of like his what would you call it? She controls things, and when he did things, he'll like them to have white fingernails on. I don't know the exact definition of the whole
Yeah, I
thing.
know. I heard the deposition in the Cassie case, and she talked about that.
Right. They made Cassie wear white fingernail polish too.
Right.
And I think she took over from his mom, because they have seen Diddy hit his mom before. You know, I mean, he slapped her and shit, and so it's not far-fetched from a lot of, you know, shit he's been involved with.
Wow.
Yo, listen, man. Like I told you before, man. Get them all out of here, yo.
Say that again.
Out of here. But let me ask you this, because I don't know if you saw the Stephen A. interview with
I didn't get to watch
the lawyer guy. Well, I don't know if you didn't see any clips or anything. Anyway,
no, I didn't.
I'll tell you what it is.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they alluded to Diddy and Epstein.
Say that
now.
You chopping up.
Cutting out. Yeah, you cutting out. It's back.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
All right. So my question: they say and get in jail, right?
Nah, it ain't coming through.
It ain't coming through yet.
Was unalived in jail. Made to seem like it was a suicide, but at the time of his suicide, the cameras were off and all types of stuff. So people believe, it's a popular belief that he was taken out of here.
I think he's talking about Epstein. I think he's talking about Epstein when he went to jail. Because the cameras were off.
They did. You're breaking up, Scotty.
Yeah.
You talking about Epstein? You talking about Epstein?
I'll tap back in a second.
Yeah,
that was a good part too. It's right when he's about to share some. So how do you feel of that, 12? I think he might have been talking about Epstein. If that's what it is, go ahead and elaborate on that for a little bit.
I'm not too sure. That's what I was alluding to. Based on what he was saying, picking up from the cracking out. That he was probably talking about Epstein, because that was one of the things that they were speaking about. I'm not too sure about the Stephen A. Smith clip he was mentioning, but based on that, I could allude to them talking about how he killed, unalive himself or whatever the scenario was. It was more along that lines of why weren't the cameras working? You know, did he really?
So basically, where he was, it was video recorded all the time.
Well, yeah,
and
they got
somebody shut the camera off.
Yeah, stuff like that. They had no footage. They had nothing.
Because I don't think he really did that. I think it was all a conspiracy. They took him out because he had too much secrets to
reveal,
to share. And I think we're looking at the same situation with Diddy. And as far I think yesterday they put him on the same thing, suicide watch.
Wow.
I don't think there's, and if you go back and look at the Cassie apology or whatever you want to call that, I don't even know if it's an apology, but if you look at that video, the way he was talking and the things he was saying, it does look like that's a possibility, but you never know what a man would do. We don't know. Even if they read everything he's up against, we truly don't really know what he's up against, because they're not going to give us everything of what's going on. So if he's even like half of the stuff they said he did, if he did half that stuff, dude, he ain't never coming out again. He ain't never going to see the light of day again. He's going to be done.
I don't know. I was about to say, we don't know.
What situation do you see him getting out of this? Is there a way that he comes out of this?
Like how other snitches come home?
Well, there's no way of snitching out of this.
That's what I'm saying, P.
Okay,
a fish in the pond.
Shine could snitch. Cassie could snitch. Anybody, little C's, but Diddy can't snitch because he the top dude.
True, but they got bigger people in
Oh,
there.
of
You
course,
remember
of course.
they had different people of status there. I'm not too entrenched in the
Well,
whole conversation, but
that's why I mentioned earlier when Scotty was on, like, is the industry finished with him? Because when he had the incident back in the day when J-Lo brought, if we find out J-Lo brought the gun into the nightclub, allegedly, it's in the little Rod suit that he filed. But we find out a lot of things now. So when you look back on it, it's like he was doing it back then,
yeah,
and,
I
and you
kind of
find out how long it's been going on. And you look at, I remember watching that case and everybody was saying, oh, Diddy's going to jail. Diddy's going. And at the last second, boom, Shine goes to prison. Everything falls along the wayside. And I don't think that he had great lawyers. I'm not saying a lawyer isn't good. We all know a lawyer is good, but it doesn't matter how good your lawyer is, no, depending on what the crime you did. If
yeah.
you walked up in Times Square and essayed a bunch of people, you're gonna go to prison. Ain't no lawyer gonna save from going to prison. They may get you less years or whatever, but you're gonna go. So somebody came out the woodworks and saved them back then. And then who comes out of a murder conviction, things like that, and then all of a sudden they walk out of there and they get all these deals. Ciroc, all and it's how they place people in the industry to help perpetuate the agenda,
Okay,
because
okay.
I believe Diddy is there for a reason. He just didn't get to where he got to because of what he can do. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying? I
okay.
don't think,
Yeah.
like, we know he's good at music. We know he was a dancer. He did a lot of stuff. But we could look around and see that there's people way more talented with way better stuff in their lives that could do better than Diddy did. But for some reason, the toxicity of him and what's around him, it's kind of like what they're trying to feed the black culture and the black community, where people are, because you remember, Diddy had those years where he was partying a lot and, he was doing his thing, and a lot of young black people looked up to that, and they looked at it as celebrating and partying because that's what Diddy was pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the industry, those what they always been pushing for the black culture. There's never been a time when you see a rapper or a singer that's really truly positive. And like, for instance, the stuff K Dot do. Yeah, K Dot got music that's not for everybody, but he keeps it cultural. You don't see them pushing K Dot. What I mean?
Yeah.
He may win the Grammy or but you don't see them splashing his music everywhere. Why? Because he's positive. But if you're gonna talk about shake that ass of me, shake that ass of me, shake, what I mean? All that ghetto stuff, it's everywhere. And you can't tell me that it's better than the other stuff,
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. I just like all of this is like a shock, in the sense is like the freak offs and all that I wasn't aware of. But it's like a double, it's like seeing someone like you looked up to in a sense, because everybody wanted to be bad boy. Bad boy, come out and
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
play,
And
uh,
that it was almost like a gangster thing where they made it cool to do a lot of that stuff, or made us think it was cool.
yeah.
And that's one of the things I don't like, what they do to artists that they put in there in front of us.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, this would be a good segue
Mm-hmm.
into this, coming from, you got anything else left to say about the Diddy?
Nah, I got nothing to say about Diddy because, yeah,
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
we gonna spin back on Diddy, man. Not this show, but there's so much more to come
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's so many angles to have, but Diddy has been a CEO. He's been a person in charge of bringing um to bring in new young talent into, I wouldn't say the rap game, because he was a producer. He got songwriter claims and all that, even if he didn't write the songs. But he was in charge of replenishing the industry, the community, the urban community with positive people for the music. You know, you look at when we came up back in the day, we had Mary J. Blige who was singing
Yeah.
R&B. You know, we had, even though we had Jay-Z, we had Nas, we had all these people that was in the culture that was, some of them sang things that was, we looked at as being bad gangster hip hop rap. But then there was also the Nas who put lay down things to uplift the community. But when you look at somebody like Ice Spice, and the reason I'm linking Ice Spice to Diddy is because these are the people they inspire to come into the game, you know, because you remember Diddy had one of the biggest of all, Little Kim.
Yeah.
And at the time, she was looked at as graunchy, hot, you know. You look at Little Kim compared to Ice Spice and people like that. And it's like, it doesn't even compare, because Little Kim, as sexy as she was, she still kind of kept it on a different level compared to Ice Spice, who just walks out in a t-shirt covering the top of her ass, and then you bring her up and you try to do a freestyle and you be like, spit something for me, and she turns around and shakes her ass, and that's her verse. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So
Yeah, true.
that's one of my biggest thing when it comes to Ice Spice, you know. And how do you feel about her being what I claim is an industry plant?
So what I would say is, yeah, this generation or this style of music, oh man, it doesn't vibe with me. Some of their hooks are good. These people are, you know, they're getting funded, but it's like my boy Lupe Fiasco said, man. He been singing about that. Yeah, I need to go back and check Lupe Fiasco. He said, "Dumb It Down," where that song where he's explaining about they paying them, or the industry wants you to dumb down your music, and that's a prophecy come true, because this is what he was singing. Let me tell you, like 2005, 2006. I think it could be a little bit later, but he was singing about this early, where they want him to dumb down his music, that he using too much big words. His
Yep.
music needs to be like the industry, and that song is called "Dumb It Down." You know what I'm saying? Um, and
You
while
can't
you
make that
explain,
shit up.
true, and while you explain this to me, I'm correlating of what I used to listen to, and that's what he used to talk about. He was always singing about they trying to make you into something you're not. And for the people, I don't want to say people without morals. That's not the right word. What I want to say is, like, these young people, they're getting cash thrown at them, and you know,
Yeah.
without no direction, you go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Want to say big up to Keyless One Automotive checking
Nice.
in. Yeah, yeah.
Big up.
He got a automotive podcast that's pretty good. Hopefully he could come on here and check us out one time. But bless up Keyless Automotive. Go check him out. He got a lot of auto stuff on his channel over there.
Nice.
So yeah, when we get back to the Ice Spice, it's like I think she's definitely an industry plant.
What is your
Do you
term of industry plant? What is your term of industry plant?
An industry plant is somebody that comes up who doesn't, okay, when you think of rap music, you think of bars, you think of hey, thanks for coming through, checking us out, Keyless Automotive. You know, you think about, when you look back, MC Light, Queen Latifah, even Little Kim, as sexy as she used to dress, I can't come out the word. It's like she still had bars. She could rap. Foxy
Mm-hmm.
Brown, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Lady of Rage, a lot of them, they could rap, you know. I'm not saying Ice Spice cannot rap, but rap is her third alter ego behind shaking her ass and other things. You know, when we hear about Little Kim and Foxy Brown, oh, she could spit.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah, oh, she could rhyme. She was dope. MC Light, she got fire. You know, one of the best female rappers ever. At least my favorites. When you go back, you got Rhapsody now, who to me is one of the best female rappers out. You don't see her out there shaking no ass or nothing like that. So when we'll look at an industry plant, it's somebody that's there that doesn't deserve to be there. And when I say doesn't deserve it, it means that they didn't put in the work. They didn't you could see when certain people are grinding and you listen to their music and you'll be like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. But to me, she got on because she had a good Instagram account and she looks good on the eyes. So what they do is they perpetuate her because they could control it. And so usually they'll probably try to hook up with the best writers, the best producers, and because at the end of the day, all they do is pushing the music. And if they could get
Okay.
somebody to push the music, you know, that's all they need.
So I
So
gotta
an
go ahead,
industry
Sam.
plant goes along with whatever their agenda is. There's no pushback.
Okay, so my pushback would be that's marketing. That's what you would want, marketing.
Right.
So, and I'm just pushing back, right, with an industry plant, right?
Okay.
And we get into the Icy Spice, right? But should we be knocking it and calling it an industry plant when it's just good marketing? Because guess what? If that is the goal for if this is the standards for today's game, right? Why knock it? Because that's what it is. If I need to have a good Instagram account, a YouTube channel, I just need to know how to sing a little bit. I look the part, and you could invest in me. That's what every career is. You having
True.
the ability to achieve something. You may not be that person. And I'm not saying Tom Brady's an industry plant, but look at Tom Brady. Nobody think Tom Brady would have became what he became, right? When he came in for Drew Bledsoe,
Well,
nobody was looking
that's
at
kind
him.
of a different that's kind of different because he actually got drafted. He was drafted by the Patriots. He was
Right,
on the
right.
roster.
But she still created a song. It's like this. Many people out there cannot create a song, right? And I'm just
Mhm.
pushing back. I'm not advocating for her in
Yeah, I
anything.
understand.
I'm just saying she did better than most people would do, right? Let's say because that's one thing I don't like when people do is they try to diminish everything people have, and I'm
Right.
just speaking in general, not her.
Hmm.
It's like this: if I create a song, I sit down, I make a beat, I wrote something down, I put it down, I went to the
Right.
studio, I sing the song, I put out the song, I put it on YouTube, I market it. I got to a point where people recognize me.
Hmm.
Is that an industry plant?
Well, there's also added context. I added everything
No, I'm
because
just yeah.
the end of that, the reason why people call her industry plant is because of the color of her skin. And
Okay.
because she is what she is, it seems like it's marketable. And
Right.
remember, we've had the conversation time to time about the bleaching of the skin and the stuff like
True.
that. And we're not saying she bleached her skin. She's clearly didn't.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know, but
yeah. She's
you
more
know,
favored. Like we say,
right.
they more favored. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I was
Well,
trying to
she's
say.
definitely in the house. She ain't outside. She's in
Right.
the house. She
But
ain't on the cusp.
right, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's like this. If you favored in certain areas, why won't you not use it to your advantage? Even if a lady comes with good asset. It's like this. At the end of the day, when
Hmm.
it comes to music, is what can bring your money back or give you your return, right? And we used to see it. You could rap. If you have two girls, one could rap, one was prettier. The pretty one always gonna get on because she could pull people
Right.
to the
Appearance.
venue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The other one got to do it on pure talent. And guess what? The one that's always prettier could get more people in, and You know, as she goes, she grows. Where the one with
It's
talent
true.
have to grind until she get that favor. You know, so. But I was just pushing back a little bit on that. But
No, that's
you
fine.
know,
That's fine. I'm. It's a question, and it's a lot of people have been talking about it, and it's a question we're asking. You know, is she
yeah.
an industry plant? And is the only other person that I could say when you talk about Sexy Red, she is also an industry plant, if you ask me. Not saying that she can't be or she's not, but it's just the way that her music blew up because there's no substance to it. There's nothing that you're gonna say, oh, in 10 years, this is gonna sound like this is gonna be elevator music in 10 years. No, no.
All right. Let me give you a parallel, right?
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's going to be even or fair, right? When, like, let's say, I know you used to listen to Ice Cube, Don Mega. I seen the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
CDs
yeah.
and the tapes in the basement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was my
When they
boy.
came out with that, every other word was a bad word. No one wanted to hear that, right?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
And,
It was
no.
offensive. It was, and I'm making a parallel, right?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Guys, I'm not one of them people. I just try to make a parallel to industry plant and see what it is, right? We know
Mhm.
Ice Cube got talent. I would never disrespect those people like that. But what I'm trying to say is, at that time, it was something unheard of. What if we past the stage of what our standards are gone and this is what's their standards, and if their standard is getting in front there and shaking or getting the money, because guess what, the music has no longevity, and if the game has no longevity, why am I building myself where I'm not going to be relevant in a couple more years? If you look at rap, and we're going through rap, right?
Yep.
Back in the days, it's talking about before Jay-Z and them, like Ice Cube and all of these cats coming up. Yo, dudes rap for a long period of time. There's a time frame on rap.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you look at the time frame now, yo, I can't tell you who the hottest rapper right now.
Nope.
Yo, there used to be one clear,
That's true.
like everybody know who the hottest rapper, and if you
Yeah.
know that rapper name when you talking with people, you walk in, yeah, that boy there, you
So
know,
so
everybody could.
are you saying rappers don't retire anymore?
Well, it's not, it doesn't have anything to retire. There's no longevity.
Right.
If something doesn't have longevity, it's just a group of people just clashing. It's like this, I'm hearing a drill rap and I can't tell you one drill rapper name. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
You know, it's like, yo, when they used to have, it's like this. When growing up, we used to hear of East Coast rappers, West Coast rappers, Southern rappers. You know, you could clearly define who was who, right? It's like this. Oh, who your favorite West Coast rapper? Snoop. Who your
That's true.
favorite East Coast rapper? You pick one of them, anyone that you like. You know what I'm saying? It was Big L, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could clearly see when you say who your favorite down south rapper. You had Lil Wayne and then Baby, the Hot
Scarface.
Boys. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
knew who, you know what I'm saying, and they were
Exactly.
all top of their genre, and
That's
that's
true.
where I'm coming from. So now when you say who's the hottest rapper, I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know. You say
Yeah.
drill rap, I'm like,
And then that's like the other day when we did the breakdown on our Lecrae and D1. And before the whole Kendrick mention, I never heard of Lecrae and D1. I didn't even know who they were. And in one of my breakdowns, I explained that there's so much music out now of different artists everywhere that you can't even keep up. You don't know who's coming from where, and it's just a wide variety of all kinds of music going on.
go to a different genre, right?
Hmm.
Go to any different genre. Who's big in pop,
Right now, I couldn't even tell you.
right? But it's more defined, it's more
Right.
pronounced.
Yeah,
You
it's
get what I'm saying?
another thing too, like I heard somebody spoke about this the other day. Why isn't rap separated? For instance, like the new rap to the old rap, you know what I mean?
It should
Because
be. It should be. It
right,
should
and
be.
it's
I agree with you.
2000s, then there's, you know,
Yeah.
90s, you know what I mean? And it's not separated where all the other music is.
Right, because you do have it's that's the thing that reggae went through. You remember first reggae was like Bob Marley, then after
Yeah.
reggae move into dance hall.
Yep.
Now they have a
It's
new
just
type
like
of
it's just like
yeah,
calypso.
yeah.
It was it
They
was
got it to the point with groovy soca and slow
yeah, it went to
soca.
yeah, but it was
Yeah,
calypso first,
yeah,
and
calypso.
then soca hit, and that was a
Yeah.
different. But it's see how it's separated.
Yep, they started
The-
separate.
right,
Yeah, they got
rap
their different
doesn't
categories.
separate. Rap hasn't
Yeah.
separated. So
Well,
you could
they
have a
did. We gotta give them some credit
in
because
what way?
there's drill rap. Because I did mention something. So
Okay,
let's
okay, okay.
yeah.
This is how I kind of define it. When an award ceremony come out, like the Grammys or whatever, the category is out. Is Jill Rap a category for the Academy Awards? And
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
it's separate. We may separate them and say, "Oh, this rap is from here, this rap is from there." But within the industry, they don't separate the rap. You got K Dot going against some kid out here in a whole different genre, and they all put it in one category and say rap music.
Okay.
And that's what I kind of alluding to. They haven't separated it, where all the other music they separate them,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like for instance, we got a couple black people that drop country albums, but yet they try to push them off the country chart so they don't get charted as country, artists.
Yeah, I
They
get
they,
you.
they
But
try
that
to do they try to do it to Beyonce. They try to do it to what was the guy there that you gonna take my horse to the old town? What's his name again?
Lil Nas X.
Nas X. When his song first came out, they tried to push it off the country shit because they didn't want that to be a country song. But when it comes to rap, they just got one name, one category. That's it.
But they did have that's a side subject, but they did have the black guy from what's his name that won the country award a couple times. Um he
Oh,
used to
you,
be
you talking about
yeah.
in the group? He used to be in the group.
Yeah, he used to be in the group, but he
Who
could sing
Hootie?
though. He could sing. Yeah,
Hootie and
yeah,
them?
yeah, 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 yeah. But the black dude, he went off on his own. He became a country singer.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
won
His name
awards.
is
Yeah,
damn, I can't think of it. Rucker, something Rucker.
yeah,
Darius
he could
Rucker.
sing.
I think
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think he went to Duke. Yeah. He's very talented. The whole
yeah,
band was.
yeah.
He actually left
Definitely.
college to do Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, I remember that. I
And I
remember that. But
remember when a lot of black people used to get on him for being singing country. And he just got better at it. I'm glad that
yeah,
he stuck with it. He didn't care what they said about, all that crap.
yeah,
I had a video on Ice Spice, a little
yeah.
stuff,
Let's
but
run it. So we sidetrack a little bit.
we
Yeah,
don't even really need to. I mean, we kind of
yeah. Well, we debated through it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't. I mean, I got it here, but like I said, we don't really need to.
Look,
We could run a little bit of it.
yeah, not too long.
Do authentic artists even become successful today? Or has the industry changed so much over the last decades that it's virtually impossible? When an artist goes viral overnight, it's due to their hard work and great talent. Or is this just really good marketing? In the case of Ice Spice, people tend to go for the latter. Ever since 2022, her name has been controversial because of this. Let's explore the full story of Ice Spice in the context of industry plans and today's music scene. When the Beatlemania started, the Beatles didn't understand what was happening.
In '62, we were touring in a van and people were laughing at us. I mean, they were. That's how our career started. They were laughing at us in Scotland and places like that. then they got interested, and then they got to really listen and like us, and then this screaming thing started.
They used us as an excuse to go mad.
Not only was it an organic growth, but the band had done nothing except record songs, release albums, and tour. It was simply them that the people preferred at the time. Then it was other musicians. Needless to say, music taste changed throughout the times, but so did the music industry. For decades, the more popular an artist was, the more record sales they had. Now there's streaming. No one buys physical products anymore, except
Nope.
for maybe vinyl enthusiasts.
And so that means for an artist, that means you get less support from the record label, and you have to have management and a team around you that make up for the difference in what the label used to do.
So instead of working with record labels, artists now turn to touring, merch, and marketing partnerships to propel their name to fandom. But this is an issue, as the more money you have, the more famous you can get. Does that mean all famous artists today got to the top with money and management as opposed to talent? Well, this is a sensitive topic. I'm sure all fans want to think their favorite artist is genuine, but the concept of industry plant has been around for a long time, and it might just prove some people are not authentic. Industry plants are usually young musicians who are believed to have gained stardom through marketing strategies, financial backing, and connections in the music industry. This concept is particularly discussed in the hip hop world, where there's a huge number of young artists emerging out of nowhere and going viral overnight. Some artists, like Billie Eilish or Lorde, signed to a major label before even establishing their music genre or releasing any music. As Lipstick commented on Lorde, her fame was disguised as organic growth with a strong underdog narrative, while in reality, she was backed by a massive label. Yeah, even the narrative can be bought and altered so that it makes you famous. But let's bring this story to the topic of this video, Ice Spice. Ice Spice was born Isis Naija Gaston right at the turn of the century on January 1st, 2000. In 2022, she went viral after releasing her song Munch.
Munch, nigga, eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, you thought I was feeling you? I was feeling you. That nigga munch.
As soon as she went viral, her name has been subject to a lot of speculation. That's because a few days ago, no one knew who she was. Now, she had the support of Drake, Cardi B, and Nicki Minaj. Her hit single peaked at 5 on Billboard 100, and within a few months, she amassed 7 million followers on Instagram. But her social media hype simply doesn't reflect real life. Lots of people have been commenting on her live shows, for starters. Her audiences just don't seem that enthusiastic to see her.
Problem with TikTok, you know, one part of the song and the rest is just thrown out the window.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad if Ice Spice's audiences only know her from the few TikTok seconds played over and over again. True fans would want to stream her music, right?
Facts.
Another person tweeted, "This is why I think Ice Spice is an industry plant. Who the fuck books a rapper for an EDM festival?" And this, well, this is proper awkward.
That's crazy, right?
Then there was the whole Drake story. In August 2022, Drake sent Ice Spice a DM on Instagram. "That Munch and You're on the Radar freestyle, hard app. I'ma play him on our radio show." In short, Drake wanted to collaborate with Ice Spice.
This is the only
Then
thing.
the DM reportedly got leaked. But how does a DM...
This is the only thing right here that lets me believe that she's not an industry plant.
Okay.
Because I think Drake is, and Drake when but I say that because of that's another video, but I think Drake is definitely in the industry to a point where he's up there, and he met with her, but she turned him down. Whatever deal he offered her, she turned him down. Now it could still mean they have things in place, but instead Drake ended up going to Sexy Red. I'm not sure if it's in this video, but Sexy Red was the industry plant that Drake brought up when Ice Spice, because he's doing the same thing he always does. He find these artists that's on the come up, and then he tried to work with them to help propel them into the, you know what I mean? Which isn't a
Yeah.
bad thing for Drake. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if an artist is going to come in and help you get up, I mean, you're going to get there, but he might speed that up 6 months
Yeah.
to a year. You know what I'm saying? So even though a lot of people saying, oh, Drake is colonizing or whatever, at the end of the day, he's doing them a big ass favor. You know, so if you there, because you know how it is, like especially us doing this YouTube thing, grinding. You know how hard it is to grind and grind, and people would be like, "Oh, they would have done it 6 months." You know how much grinding that 6 months took? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And if you could jumpstart somebody 6 months ahead to a year, that is huge. So the fact that she turned him down kind of tells me that she didn't want what he was selling.
Okay.
And then he took that same agenda, it seemed, to Sexy Red, and Sexy Red is on the rise. He got songs with her, and he got all this stuff, you know. So that's one thing that led me to believe that she might not be an industry plant.
So what I was going to say is the video explained the new genre of how music is portrayed. When if
Right.
you go back to the part, we don't have to rewind the video, but
No,
if
no.
you go in the video when what's his name? The singer was talking, the guy.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was explaining how the industry is and what today's standard is. So he was saying there's no longer the need for the label because all you just got to do is produce the music, market, get a team, and put it out. And that's exactly what it is. There's no like development. Wayne was talking about that, where there was like where he went through that trend where there was they go to the studio, there was a topic, when they pick that topic, that's what they sing about. So the I guess it was the label or whoever was telling them what to sing, what to think. So I remember there was a video similar to that. I may not have hit all the points, but he was talking about when they went to the studio, they had to write on a subject, everybody sing on the same subject, and that was the song they was putting out. If you don't have that, there's no development. You could sing whatever your heart desire now, just have a hot hook, put it on TikTok, like the little kid was saying. You only get that 30-second clip that go viral. When you go to perform, there's no development. There's no breath control. There's no learning how to move the crowd. Is no, nobody learned your whole song. It's none of that.
Well, here's this. We got Scotty back with us. Can you hear me, Scotty?
Salute. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I had to drop the link.
Yeah, your audio is a little choppy though.
Hold on. Let me turn this.
You came in at the perfect time. Because I got a question.
Pause.
Hey, we here talking about Ice Spice and the possibility of her being an industry plant. So we were just talking about the whole performing thing, because I know this is you've performed, and is it something you have to learn? Because basically what we're talking about is we saw her out performing. We were watching this video. I'm not sure if you was able to catch us offline or not. And they show her performing, and nobody's singing the song. Everybody just standing around with cameras. And we were kind of talking about
waiting for her to shake her ass. Yeah.
Right. So what Mr. 12 brought up was a lot of times you'll have these TikToks where they make a 30-second video or a 30-second song of a chorus or something, and it goes viral, and that's the hit song, but the rest of the song doesn't have any context to it. It's just garbage. And I wanted to ask you, because you've performed on stage and stuff like that. So is there somebody you go to that teach you how to have stage presence, that teach you how to perform? Like, okay, I got this song. Like, what's the best way to perform this song to attract the audience? What goes into a performance when you do a song?
Well, when you're on her level, then most definitely you have a choreographer, you have a PR person, you have all these things available that is mandatory. You know what I'm saying? So if we're talking about the major leagues, then most definitely you have people who coach you on how to do things. In regard to Ice Spice, I feel like she caught fire so fast that she didn't have time. That artist development that 12 was talking about, she didn't have that. And at the time, they still didn't know it was going to be. Well, all right, I'm gonna double back on that. But at the time, she was a major label, but she was still in the testing out phase. So the money behind her being trained and coached like that wasn't like it is now. I mean, so
you think she
just
got sped
put
up?
out. Yeah, I think she got put out too fast, and she never had to go through the grind of performing and actually even really writing a lot of songs. Like I think she did a couple of TikTok.
Go ahead.
So I was going to ask you, what is your definition of an industry plant?
See, people want to say the industry put people in the game to put certain agendas, but they don't even have to be as viral as Ice Spice. Anytime you sign a contract and certain stipulations are put in that contract, they own you. They can basically tell you what you are, how you're going to present yourself.
So what would you consider a certain specification?
I think everybody's an industry plant. Anybody who made it is an industry plant.
Okay.
If you don't have control over your image or your music, you're industry plant.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
So what I wanted to follow up, because what I was alluding to earlier, and you wasn't here, so I give you a little background, because I was on the side, and I'm listening it from. I wasn't calling her an industry plant based on the description that everyone normally gives what an industry plant is. I'm wise enough to say, all right, well, basically what you're saying, she's an industry plant because she had good marketing, right place, right time. She's a pretty girl. She got asses that she could shake if she can't perform, and all the criteria everyone normally gives for industry
can't
plant.
Perform.
Well, hold on. If she can't sing, she performs in other ways, so she has a backup, right? Ladies could do that.
Okay, I take
what I'm saying?
that. Yeah.
So it's like this: if a chick can't sing or whatever, or she gets stuck, you got to come up with a improvisation. Guess what blows that out of the park most of the time?
What's that?
So does sex appeal get you this far?
We're talking about ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Because to me, like, since she's got on, she hasn't done anything.
Well, what is expected of her?
I mean,
what do people demand from her?
You don't really expect much from her.
Exactly.
And you guys got to realize, a lot of people got to realize that we are in the age of that spark, and no artist is lasting multiple years.
Right? Just talking about
people's attention. Yeah, people's attention span is so low. You know, and music is so generic, and they're not making classic. And then on top of that, when you saturate the market, you know, people get tired of you really quickly.
That's true.
And that's what we was talking about. Yeah.
So how was Drake able to survive so long? We talking 15 years. I mean, Kendrick survived too.
Style. Drake is not a bad rapper. I wouldn't say he's an MC. Drake is not a bad rapper. What kept Drake alive so long is, first of all, let's say the first 4 or 5 years of after he got known and got signed by Young Money. He was riding the coattails of Young Money.
Yeah.
You know, living off the hype of Young Money, and then he became his own entity, and then he stretched his lifespan by adapting different styles and changing. You know,
So do you
anything
think
that's
he's an
hot, he's on it.
You think he's an industry plant?
We got to be able to separate industry plant from good business plan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
We got to be able to do that, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
wanted
me,
to add to that.
Okay, go ahead.
So we were talking about, you talk about Drake, right? What a lot of people forget was Drake was a, let's say, dual threat. What I mean by that is he can also sing. Now
He can
people
harmonize. He can't sing. He can harmonize.
Well, all right. He
Yeah.
was an R&B cat. Let's put it like that. He was R&B, right? So when he came out, he was doing R&B and rap. So no one could fill those two lanes. There's other people that probably could do that, but he was the only person at that time. If I'm wrong, somebody, I know there's other people out. Jamie Foxx could sing and rap, I think, right?
Yeah, he was more of an actor.
Right, but what I'm just trying to be
I know what you mean. Yeah, that he was kind of like a hybrid.
Exactly, and that's why he was able to sustain so long. So now everyone forgets that he used to do R&B.
That's true. That is a point.
So
he wasn't just a straight rapper. So it
but
actually
he
kind
eased
of
into it.
Yeah, but
the thing is,
too. So we never got tired of him, like you said earlier. You know what I mean?
Jamie Foxx too, though. He crept the singing in because you remember he was on the comedy show, and he would sing on the comedy show. So the transition between him being a comedian to an actor to a singer, it was easier to digest. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you like Eddie Murphy. A lot of people didn't know that Eddie Murphy did music.
Could sing, yeah.
I'm saying a lot of people didn't.
He was singing songs back in the day. He had songs he used to put out.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was totally separate from what we know Eddie Murphy as.
Yeah.
You know, you had to dig for that. He wasn't promoting that on his comedy tours. He wasn't doing nothing like that. And then, like, take for instance, Snoop Dogg, and then you got Snoop Lion. You know what I'm saying? People don't really check for Snoop Lion. Because that's a business model that didn't really work out.
What did it do? I've never heard of it.
Snoop Lion is basically the reggae Snoop Dogg.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. He did do a reggae album.
Yeah, and he called himself Snoop Lion.
Oh wow!
You know, so then I say that to say this: there's certain people who can diversify, but if you're heavily steeped in a certain style of fame that you generate, right? If you're steeped in that and there's no fluidity, there's no transition, a smooth transition over time is not going to work. As far as the industry plant thing, the game in general is pushing a certain agenda, and we're used to seeing industry plants think about it. New Kids on the Block.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. That was definitely an industry plant.
All these pop groups.
Yeah.
You know, and even overseas in Japan, they make a whole business of doing that.
Oh yeah. So when they put these pop groups together, you don't think they just trying to make money?
Yeah.
Rather than we will look at it and say, oh, they were trying to push an agenda. But if we got together and put a bunch of people together that could do music, and we just trying to make money, and something ends up happening, are the creators to blame?
I mean, the best way to make money is to make something that people going to like for a long time, right? So I doubt that people.
Well, for a long time.
Well, nowadays it's different nowadays because they just trying to turn a quick buck.
Or what's going to sell?
That's the difference now. They're thinking short term, but back then they were thinking long term. We're gonna put all these people together and we're gonna make money with them for years.
Now, when you
saying
say
years to come.
Okay, so when you're going to make music, right? Are you
Mm.
thinking of making the best music you can make, or make something that would last longer?
You don't know what's
Because
going to last longer.
you right, so you're trying to hypnotize today, but hope it stays around for tomorrow, right? Like we lost 12.
I mean, as a real creator, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be speaking from the heart, or speaking from experience, or some type of organic situation. So, me personally, when I make music,
Yeah.
that's why I try not to sound like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because I
But
don't know.
you definitely got to create your own style.
Everybody who make music, when they do a song on the key, they say, "Yo, this gonna be a hit." They feel like this is gonna be it. So I don't think we go into it thinking that we're not gonna make a hit. But what actually becomes a hit from what doesn't, we can't control that.
True. Because what I wanted to say was, go ahead, sorry, P.
No, go ahead.
What I wanted to say, Dre, was when you look at, I think, how we have enough knowledge to evaluate the situation. When we look at it, we're coming from several generations, right?
Right.
If we were to evaluate these kids based on their generation, I don't think it would have the same criteria, right? Because we understand what it is to write. We understand what it is to make beat. Now kids don't have to do all of that. I was looking at an app, right, to make a beat. All you have to do is just say the sound of the beat. It puts it in the octave or the letter, right?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yo, you boop boop boop, and it's gonna put it in the octave, and it plays it on the thing. You go back, you say, "I want to get up guitar." You be like, "Bang bang bang," and it puts it in, and it put it in the right key. And by the time you're done, you don't need a guitarist. You didn't need a drummer, right? So, but back then we had to get on the MPC. We had to get up on the Beatles or get up on whoever sampled their drums.
So you think the creativeness has died? So it's lost.
One aspect of it. One aspect of it. I think
I won't say the creativeness died.
Yeah.
I just think it became.
Go ahead.
I don't think it died. I think it just became more accessible, because a lot of times before, when we were growing up, in order to make a dope beat or something like that, yeah, you could get on the MP3, MPC, or Triton, or whatever you chose, and you could fumble your way through a beat. But the real good producers were going through things like music theory and things like that. They were actually learning chords. They were learning the true art of it. It was an actual skill that you needed.
Yeah.
Now you could just use AI, basically.
So
AI
is
engine.
that because some of the older heads are gatekeeping? So the younger
I
ones
think
are finding.
I think it's just a natural progression, and the fact that people don't really invest time into their craft anymore.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to allude to, P, because now technology has provided that information. I don't need you. It's like this: to make a rap song, I could go right now on the internet, right? I could go to AI. Hey, how do I write a song? You need this. You need a verse, hook, verse. If you want to go that way, it needs to be 16 bars.
Right.
You need to have something that's catchy. I don't need back in our days, someone had to break this down to us, right? You know what I'm saying? You could ask the AI, hey, what's a good tempo for a rap song? It's going to give you the best thing. Oh, I like 50 cents. 50 cents tempo is normally around this range, depending on what song. It's a lot. The information. This is the information time. So you don't need to go to a studio. I don't need Tupac. I don't need Dre. I don't need none of these people. I could learn this from a computer that could provide it to me without back in the days getting the knowledge where I needed to go to school. I need to get with the right people. You don't need that, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, like, all you got to do is come up with a line and put it as a chat GPT prompt and say, look, build me a song with these elements, you know? And then you give it that word, one line, and it just spits out a whole thing. It can spit out a whole story. You know what I'm saying? By just giving it a sentence and make a whole story for you.
Yeah.
But I think that what it lacks is, for the moment, is it lacks soul. You know what I'm saying? AI can only do generic. AI can only give you generic stuff.
So Dre, let me give you this element. People think that, right? People think that. I know how to utilize AI. People think that it lacks soul. It's the level of the input that you're putting into the computer. Let me say that again. It's the level of information that you're giving ChatGPT. So if you're vague with the input, it's going to be vague on the output. So it's going to be flat. If you know exactly what you want, the level and the context, because I don't want to spill it on here. I could spill it to rappers, but I could tell it certain stuff, and it could emulate me based on the fact that they were talking about, we go a little deep, but I won't get in too deep with this. They was talking about a book that something had to be finished, and ChatGPT had to go forward, read all the book, and it had to write a last chapter to that book. And people couldn't tell that the book was real or not, because what it did was it analyzed the context forward.
You gave it a lot of content.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? That's the key right there, is how much information you're willing to give.
So you basically you wrote half the book and put it in, and it finished it.
Yeah, so I think it was based on the Bible. So they asked it to fill in a chapter or something. I can't remember if it was the Bible, but it was some book, and they asked it to write a last chapter, and it did it like perfectly, because they gave it a lot of context. So don't hold me to the Bible. So, but it was something. It was a high level book. No, it wasn't the Bible. It was something else. But it was a high level book, and people loved it. But it wasn't real. You know, it's like, damn. It seemed like the original author wrote that chapter, but I could be wrong on that information.
So,
but to that extent,
yeah, that's it's so much information out there. Everybody, y'all gotta find that information. So we're gonna finish there with the Ice Spice. I mean, any other last moments? So nobody thinks she's an industry plant?
I think she's favored, but not
I think I think she washed up. That's what I think.
Well, what do you think
I think she
about
better
her
come out with another. I think she better come out with another sex tape.
What about, she got one?
Yeah. Don't you know the formula now, bro? The formula, bro. Everybody got one. That's the formula.
It's crazy.
I think the only one who don't got one is Glorilla. I think that's the only one.
It's crazy because, like, ever since Diddy stuff's been out, you like, people drop a sex tape and be like, that's boring. Because it's like, after you see the diddler stuff, you're like, hey, it ain't that you got could top that.
It's part of being relevant now, especially if you're a female.
Wow, I never heard of it. I guess I had to go find it.
Why?
Don't What's thing got one out now too? I think Meg Thee Stallion got one out now.
For real?
Damn. Oh my goodness. Pete looking.
He's like, damn.
Right now.
Right?
Nah.
Yo, that damn came out different. You heard it, Dre? That one came out. Damn.
Yeah, he's like, oh, word?
Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Damn, that's crazy.
All right, so we're gonna make a segue from there. So we got a quick clip. We're gonna go right into it. We're gonna come back on the other side. In the some benefit to black people of 50 years of hip hop.
Outside of economic advancement,
what was the economic advancement of Black America because of
it's
hip-hop?
it's the biggest export. Everybody in the Black community.
I'm gonna ask you again.
Yes, sir.
How did Black America benefit from 50 years of hip hop? And don't give me individual rappers. That's called tokenism and bourgeoisie.
I won't give you tokenism. I will give you
benefited as a people from hip hop.
Advancements in fashion.
How? Fashion. That's
no,
nothing.
I can't let you have that. That one I can't let you have that.
We don't control fashion.
Anyone that's able to make money, any Black person that's able to make a living in an industry,
bro. How many is that? The labels that
it's way more now.
White people labels.
It's way more now than what was going on.
But that's not a real benefit.
I would disagree.
How is Black America benefiting from fashion? What are we talking about?
Any advancement in fashion for Black
we benefit
people
from fashion, bro?
Those same companies just came out. What was the company that came out and they're boosting up their prices for bags by like thousands of dollars?
LVMH.
Yeah, that's not beneficial to Black people.
Yeah.
So
you're missing what I'm saying. If hip hop, when hip hop comes, hip hop is an entire culture. Our fashion, the way we walk, the way we talk.
How is that a benefit to Black America?
Because now people who didn't have access to jobs in the fashion, Black people specifically, who didn't have access to jobs before the explosion of hip hop, 50 years ago.
White companies that make billions of dollars.
Forget the white companies. I'm talking about Black-owned companies that have
who? How many?
Fubu, Carl Kanai.
I'm getting out of here.
What?
You said in 50. You're moving the goal. You're moving the goalpost. You're moving the goalpost. You said in 50 years.
Oh, come on.
You said in 50 years.
You're reaching, bro. You're reaching.
That's not true, though.
That is a reach. What?
You said in 50 years.
50 years.
What has transpired?
This ninja went back to the late 80s.
No.
This is crazy.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
but,
it is.
But it's not as obvious. It's not where it was before. But the advancement that those four men.
Boom, boom, boom.
So 50 years, you had on a Fubu jacket and some Carl Kanai.
No, listen.
And for the billions that hip hop make, I'm supposed to be content with that.
I didn't say be content. You asked a question. I offered you.
Horrible answer. Give me something. A horrible answer.
Who decides
horrible
war?
Answer.
Who decides war? Literally having a line come out with H&M right now, and a Black person owns that line.
What has been the sum benefit?
So the question is, what has hip hop done for the Black community in 50 years of it existing? Any answer to that?
To me, I don't think. To me, I don't think that's even a fair question because I'm speaking for myself. Okay. To me, that's not even a valid question because throughout history, our people have been the givers. You know what I'm saying, and everybody's been the takers. Now, that's just what we're the innovators in a lot of respects. We're the innovators, and we give blessings onto the world, and they take it, and then we just create new ones, and they take it. So I can't just relegate that strictly to hip hop. I would say in general, that's what we do. In regard to hip hop or anything, when someone creates something, someone with more power, more money comes, they offer them a check for it. You know what I'm saying? And they sell it.
Sure.
And if they don't want to sell it, they get killed or whatever. They get unalived or whatever. And then the idea still comes out there, you know? So I think business is business.
Facts.
You know, that's what I think. And hip hop is no different. You know, I'm pretty sure music execs were eating off for rock and roll artists, you know, back in the day.
Payola.
So, you know, and nobody gave respect to Chuck Berry or anyone else who invented rock and roll and stuff, which was a black person. So like, it's just the name. It's the honor of our story. I think what we need to do is just accept the fact that we're innovators, and we just need to keep the fresh ideas coming. We stay ahead of the curve. What we need to stop doing is letting them jack our stuff, glamorize it, and then sell it back to us like we didn't invent it. That's the only problem I see with it.
Okay.
Take for instance, black women been wearing cornrows for years. It didn't really get popping until Bo Derek did it. You know what I'm saying? In a movie or ad or something, she threw some cornrows in her head, and oh, that's so edgy and this, that, and the third. And then they jacked it, and we've been doing it for years. And then we changed it. Women changed it to something else.
So would you say it's jacking,
we innovators
or
and
they
we
just?
give away ideas?
Well, you said we're innovators. So if
let me
we're
clarify that.
if we're innovators, how come they can't use what we already have because they're trying to be like us? So if you see them wearing cornrows and things like that, it's because they like
Because money rules the world.
Right. But they're doing it because
money
they
rules
like
the
it.
world.
You don't think they're doing it because they like having cornrows, trying to be
emulate the
ebony?
style.
Yeah. Because a lot of
I
times
think a lot of
when
people-
people would go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of times people want to emulate us, but don't want to go through the struggle. That's what it is.
Why do they need to go through the struggle?
They
I mean,
don't.
if I'm trying to be
that's something that
something else, I'm not going through the struggle. I'm just trying to duplicate it from what I see, but I'm not going through the struggle.
Like, all right, so like take for instance,
Mm-hmm.
you guys know the story of how blanket pause this. All right, blanket pause ahead of time. You know the story. you know how the story of jerking meat came along, right? We're West Indian.
No.
Jerk chicken, jerk pork.
Oh,
stuff like
okay,
that.
jerk. Okay.
You know the background of that, right?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
You breaking
that.
up. But the
No, I don't.
background, for anybody who don't know, the background, for anybody who doesn't know, the background of jerking meats, pause, was to save food, because when slave masters, when Jamaicans rebelled against the slave masters, they went up into the Blue Mountains and they had to preserve the meat. And the way they preserved the meat was by covering these spices and certain things, which ultimately became jerk seasoning, right?
Okay.
So now you'll go to a 4-star restaurant, an infusion restaurant, right? And you'll order, I like some jerk chicken with some calamari, right? They love it. They take it home, they get the recipe, take it home, and they kick it. They make it, and it's one of their favorite meals. All right. They don't know behind that. They just like the outcome of it. They like the taste of it. You get where I'm going?
Yeah.
So a lot of these things that were born out of necessity just become a trend, but they don't know the history or respect the history. They just like what it has to offer. That's what I mean by they don't have to go through the struggle. They just like what is aesthetically pleasing or good for their palate. Meanwhile, somebody or older Jamaican person will, this is when they prepare the meat and stuff like that. It's more of like a ritual. It's more of getting in contact with their past, and stuff like that.
I respect that.
I never knew that. That's the first time I've heard that story. That's pretty neat. That's almost like our cornfish that we do home.
Yeah.
Because the same way that started, we used to catch a lot of fish, but fish will go bad. So they had to find ways to preserve it. So they started salting it and putting stuff on it in it.
Yeah.
They call it cornfish or some shit now. And
yeah,
they
like
make They make meals with it and stuff out there. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they used to get a lot of fish. But yeah, I've never heard that story about the jerk
Yeah, I heard it.
chicken,
Yeah.
jerk paws. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. I'll have to read into that and see a little more
no,
about
listen,
that.
man. A lot of things that we think are new ideas are not.
True.
They just reintroduced. That's it.
Oh yeah, I think so. But as you get older, so I guess you find certain information that you didn't when you were younger. So
That's the beauty of
you
the internet, bro.
yeah. Well, you got to remember when we were kids, the internet wasn't around.
True.
It got developed when I
True,
was a
true,
kid
true.
coming up. So
We
you
had
didn't know a lot.
National Geographic.
Before that, we had Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if your family
But
couldn't afford the next year model, you were done.
yeah, you got the old knowledge.
You got the
But
old.
as far as Dr. Umar though,
Mhm.
the whole Pan African movement and all this stuff like that, I understand he has. See, there's certain messengers who have a message, but the motivation behind it is impure. You know what I'm saying,
That's what I
and I
don't like
think
either.
I think that's what Dr. Umar is, because not too long ago there were pictures floating around with him hugging up on a white woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think he pushing
So
a narrative that's untrue. He just comes off with too much energy behind it that you just know it ain't real.
I
I
look
mean,
at it
and
different. I look at it different because it's like this. It's like this. He's let's call it a public figure, or I don't know the right terminology to put it because I'm gonna get it wrong. But it's like this, straight. You get popular. Any other race than what you speak about that you talk to, or let's say you're affectionate in the sense of, if I'm a man, I'm black man, and I'm preaching black message, black family, that doesn't still mean that I can't have a white friend. It doesn't mean I can't have a Spanish friend, because guess what? I could still be cool, right, with someone where I take an affectionate photo with them with a hug or something close, with in that sense of a close relationship that you could misconstrue. Because guess what? People are going to do it to other people too as well, right?
Yeah, but
Because
doesn't he like perpetuate everything against white?
well, not
yeah, he
necessarily.
basically says white devil. He's
Right.
the
Does he
white
have any white
devil of God.
friends?
You know what I'm saying?
Does he have any white friends?
I would assume, because you can't do a lot of money moves in general without, a little help. Even with the slave movement and stuff, we did have assistance from
exactly
the
true
quote unquote enemy. But somebody like him,
Breaking up again.
black excellence, black this and black that.
Right.
You can't blame people for misconstruing it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these people, especially with the woke community or whatever they call it, they're just using it as a gimmick. And since there's so much information floating around out there, you can easily create a narrative. The way you implement it in your life day to day, though, is something different.
Yeah.
Well,
So as far as
I'm going from what I see.
I think Dr. Umar is a fraud. I think he's an intelligent fraud, to be honest. I do. I don't believe him. I wouldn't trust him with no money. I wouldn't trust him with my girl. I wouldn't trust him with nothing.
I feel the same way too. He just comes across as not believable.
And then if you really listen to him, the way he delivers his message is crazy.
It is, and that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. When he called it the snow bunnies and he called you the. So how do you feel about Mr. 12? It seemed like you got a different perspective than us.
Right. So what I would say is I look at him slightly different. So like, I won't discredit everything he says, right? Just because there's some, like, I won't.
No,
Really
no, we're
take
not
really-
discrediting what he's saying. A lot of what he says is true. It's
Right.
just the delivery and the way he brings it.
The authenticity. He's not genuine.
Right.
I don't,
Exactly.
he doesn't give you a genuine vibe.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Well, what
me-
he's saying is it's usually true. There's some stuff that comes out bullshit, and we could see it. But for the most part, everything he talks about is true. It's just the way he's
okay. That's what I was going to clarify, because I was going to say there's so in there, and you guys just explain it. You say you talking about how genuine he is, and all right, I could
Right.
agree with that. Right, I never poked at that, but what I would say is I just kind of take the substance, because guess what?
Yeah.
How much people out there that you see that deliver content and they not who they are?
But it also means, all right, if you're going to just take people on, if you're just going to absorb the message and reject the rest of the messenger, right?
Exactly.
You have to be the person.
That's what you should do.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then you have to be. And if it pulls at your heartstrings and it makes you want to put change in your life, then you have to be that genuine, authentic mouthpiece.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Because
Yeah.
it's supposed to generate soldiers in the army. You know what I'm saying? And if you have an example, you know, where you get your ideas from and stuff like that, and that turns out to be genuine, a lot of times that trickles down to your narrative. Yeah.
So I'm
if you're
ask
willing
both,
to take the
both of y'all this.
information and what's up?
Now I'm gonna ask both of y'all this. So Omar, he kind of makes himself as a representation for black people, black community. So both of y'all got different views on it. How do y'all feel about him being the person to claim to represent us?
I think for anyone to represent us, they have to be flawless and they have to be consistent. Because we're living in the age where we're finding out things from the past, you know, like that people really weren't as genuine as they seem to be.
Yeah.
So, for us to have a leader or something like that, their background got to be squeaky clean, and they have to be consistent with their message on and off camera.
Okay.
Because the
So
minute somebody can,
let me ask you a quick question on that. Does the background matter? Because you don't really pick and choose your leaders. Because if you look back, Dr. King had a messy background. Malcolm X had a messy background, but those people went through a struggle that brought them somewhere else to what ended up being leading a nation into another, stratosphere. So I don't think we can choose.
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, finish.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like I said, maybe the background does it, because you can come from somewhere. You have to know the struggle to have a story to tell, right?
Yeah.
But the consistency. Once you turn that corner, there's no going back. And that's the type of person we need. Because if you remember, even Malcolm X had his wild days when he used to call him Red.
Yeah.
Dude used to do would cut you, dude was selling drugs, pimping, all that.
That's what I'm saying. They both
But
have
it's
messy backgrounds. How we learned from that?
I think that's what matters. But we need a messenger that has a good message and is a truly authentic person. But the problem with those type of people is they generate more enemies than friends. And they don't have a platform. They don't actually get to build that platform. When you're more well liked by people, you get a broader fan base and you can affect change more. That's why they use artists in music, because they have an influence over a large amount of people. Yeah. Real people who are doing things, they don't have that influence on a large amount of people all at once like that. It's a movement that builds over time. And a lot of time they don't even get to see the fruits of their labor. They just pass the torch. You feel me?
That's true. You want to touch on that, Mr. 12? We got one more topic and we're gonna head out.
So what I wanted to do was, while you were talking, you made me ponder on something, because you said they don't have the longevity. And what I was thinking about when I was analyzing is the people with the message, they don't really have the crowd. Is it because it doesn't match the programming that they're preaching, in the sense of like Icy Spice or the Red, sorry, I don't know their name like that,
Red.
but right, because the information that they're pushing, right? If they're not getting, like, let's say, telling girls, hey, go to school, blah blah blah, that type of stuff, instead of, hey, shake this, shake that, be like this, munch, eating, all of that stuff. I think the message is wrong, because guess what? No one really wants to hear be a good person. No one really wants to hear black man put down your gun. And those type of message, they want to be YOLO, live in the moment, instead of procuring a future to have a well background. And that's kind of what I got from that. Is just people want to live in the moment and not really protect the future, because everybody go through that. Everybody want to be in the hot spots, the Diddy parties, and that type of stuff. But the reality is, once that time is gone, guess what everybody wants to do? Why you feel a lot of men, and I'm going off subject, but I'm gonna come back, bring it back. But yeah, that's where my mind went. Yeah, go to your next question. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
I just want to add one more thing. No,
Yeah.
Go ahead. I wanted to add one more thing to that.
I was going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And you could
let me get it started. You can ask.
I'm gonna tell you this real quick, and you could add it into whatever you're gonna say. Add into what Mr. 12 just said. I was gonna ask you, because you're in the rap industry, so as an artist, when you sign with a label and you create a song, if the song is too positive, without a lot of curse words and a lot of negativity, does the label really push back and tell the artist, hey, we need some more FUs in there, we need some more this, some more that? Is it? I've heard of stories, but I don't know for sure. What's your experience on that? And we're gonna wrap it. You could end this segment.
I think that whatever, I think it's a business. Whatever sells, is they're gonna try to keep squeezing the juice out of that lemon. You know what I'm saying? So for some reason, like case in point, you got people like Chance the Rapper, right? For the most part, he preaches positive message. All right. And it sells for a while. As soon as it don't start selling, or that image is no longer popular, he's gonna have to switch or fade away. You know what I mean? I think we're witnessing that. So
that's crazy.
The reason why I think a lot of, and just to wrap it all up, and put a bow on it, I think anybody who wants to promote change, right? The reason why it doesn't reach the masses is because usually change involves hard work.
Exactly.
Okay? And it involves sacrifice. It involves not just an outward change, but an inward change. And that's hard work. We're living in an age where everybody likes things easy. It's easier for you to just go on stage and dress half naked and shake your ass than it would be to sit down and write a cohesive, thought-provoking song, or actually make an actual dance routine that focuses more on skillful elements. Like me, who I respect, one of these new artists that I respect, she kind of pushes sex in a way, but her show is amazing. Coil Ray when she goes on stage, she puts on a show. You know what I'm saying? The choreography, you know, the way the dancers are dressed, she makes every song into a story
Right.
on stage. You know what I'm saying? Rather than Ice Spice, who's gonna try to put on a schoolgirl outfit and, you know, try to entice pedophile on PDF files and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
unfortunately, a lot of people are just driven by money, so they're going to take the easy route.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, why not? You know, because most of them just look at it as getting the bag, and if it's my time to get the bag, I'm gonna get it.
And then what they do when they go chill with the Kardashians? You know what I'm saying? They don't even go chill with the people they used to chill with, the Kardashians and people like that. They hang their people out to dry, and they push this image on the people, and they hang them out to dry.
Yeah.
Look, I don't claim to be no saint. I do a lot of killing, a lot of animal behavior in my music. I do have songs that promote a different side, and I'm trying to go more into that. But I made those songs not to please the crowd, but that make me vibe out when I listen to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It puts me in the zone when I listen to it. I don't do it to push an image onto the public. You know what I'm saying? This is what I grew up on. This is what I like. You know, so it's not necessarily something that's not genuine to me. It's just something that I enjoy. You know, it inspires me to do things. It's just another thing. It's not an agenda behind it, or I'm not trying to piggyback off of something else. It's just something that's coming from me.
I wanted to
So-
add to that.
Right.
I see you written, and I seen a lot of your rhymes, like where you used to write, and it used to inspire me because that's what I like when, even though you're talking about, you know, like let's say something bad, when you say it, it sounds horrible, but it's coming from a point of view where you got a message. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You always tie it into a message, like this is the problem, this is the cause, and this is how it was solved. Or if he did this, that wouldn't occur. But and I understand how you deliver it, and I used to like that when you used to deliver stuff like that. I'm like, damn, I gotta rewrite my shit.
Yeah, we used to make some really good songs. Well, like we used to make a lot of songs that had a good message, you know.
Yeah.
And I still do that too, but you know, I need the ratchet in there, man. I need some. There's a balance, and everybody has that duality inside.
So
them,
let me
and I
let me
think-
ask you a quick question. How many of these new artists you think are writing their own rhymes?
I could answer
I mean,
that.
based on the rhymes that's coming out, I would hate this. I would hope all of them, because
That's
a
what
lot
I
of
was
these
gonna
niggas
say.
yo, a lot of these.
That's what I was gonna say. They ain't writing. Yo, trust me, they ain't writing, because
You
trust
think
me,
Chat
yo,
GBT's doing these raps for him?
Nah, these
nah.
raps that are coming out nowadays don't take no thought process. So
Exactly.
a lot of
Trust
them.
me.
So
Yeah,
I
agree.
would hope that they're writing that. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you look at it, Chat GBT would put some structure into their music. It would be formatted. It would be on you to deliver that content.
So
I look
usually,
at it.
rap music is a product of the community somewhere, wherever that community is. The things coming out, is that what they really want to hear, or is it just people? Because the other day we got into it, we had a different breakdown. I think it was Lecrae and D1, which we responded to Kendrick Lamar last track he dropped, and we
Yeah, I
kind of
commented on that video. I don't know if you saw what I said, but I did comment on the video.
no. What'd you say on that?
I said he has a good message, but his style is whack.
Which one?
D1, I don't think he. I don't
Yeah,
like
he's
listen to
yeah.
that
It's
dude
pretty.
rap.
It's pretty crazy. He's from New Orleans too.
You think
Yeah,
he
I don't
was
know
what?
if it's the lisp or just I think the only one line that I liked where he was like something like size 10 like my shoe. That was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
clever
yeah,
bar, but
he did have a pretty good bar.
overall I think he sounds dated. And in my impression of D1,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's almost like another Dr. Umar. I think he's using a certain talking point to generate clout.
Yeah, he
Me
went after
personally,
Wayne too, but
yeah,
they've been beefing for years, from what I've heard.
but this is the thing, like when he got co-signed by Kendrick, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he was really into the message that he is promoting, I don't think he'd be even bigging up that shout out. Just off the fact that Kendrick Lamar promotes killing and things like that. And if you're like a Jesus person, as he claims to be, the fact
Well,
that Kendrick Lamar has a
isn't
six.
Christianity the biggest killers in this world?
Well, let's
Well, I
switch
mean,
that
not
one
since
because
the
it's not.
not since the
Nah.
Inquisition. The Inquisition, they was out there murdering a lot of people.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
as far
They had other people.
but that-
They kill a lot of people. We ain't gonna sit here and say no. It happened, but it had others. It had others that was killing more than the Christians.
yeah.
Yeah, let's stay on
But
topic.
D1 for you to be this, because me, I consider myself Christian, right? Even though the word Christian isn't nowhere in the Bible, it's something that's made up.
It is.
But
It
I
is,
believe
bro.
I follow. I would like to follow Jesus or Yahweh or whatever you want to call it. The fault I find with D1 is, first of all, he has a picture out there where he's throwing up the devil horns. That's all. That's crazy. Secondly, when it comes to Kendrick, you are taking, you're riding off the boost that Kendrick is giving you. And Kendrick, I like Kendrick. I think he's a dope artist. But when you are pushing Christianity and then you go buy a $6 million crown of thorns covered in diamonds,
I get you.
I think that
I'm sure you
I
rented
think
it.
that's. But even to wear it,
It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy. That's the way you go on that.
Blasphemous.
Yeah. Yes. I seen that too. That's it. I got
Hey,
the same picture.
no
I'll let you
Kendrick
take that.
slander.
But it's okay for Drake, huh? We gotta keep it balanced, man. Go in.
Drake.
Fuck Drake. Listen, OVO is OTO. Okay, OVO is OTO.
We gonna
if you don't
make
know
the
what OTO,
transition right there.
if you don't know
What's
what OTO is, go look it up.
Nigga, you can't
If
just
you know
leave
what
us.
it is, go look it up.
Hey,
We
look
ain't
up
gonna
that. Look
discuss
up
that
that.
right now.
12.
But
What is it?
I don't know. That's the first time I ever heard of
it's
it.
OTO. OTO.
And what's that?
Explain.
What's your quick example?
Let's just say it's an affiliation of an occult organization.
Okay, Christian cult type thing.
Just like he has the owl symbolism that represents
Right.
Moloch. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's the big structure that they have over there in where Bohemian Grove. That's that big statue that they're doing the rituals around, the big owl.
Okay.
Saying a lot of people see things they don't really know the symbolism, and they hear things and this is cool. But they don't go ahead and dig deeper into what it really means or where it stems from. So people be more careful. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go. It's a pleasure. I hope to be on here again soon.
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
Can I plug the channel for a quick second though? Can I plug the channel?
You breaking up. Yeah, go ahead.
Now I said I'm about to go, but Can I plug the channel before I go?
Yeah. I was
Go
going to
ahead,
just
go ahead.
say that Scotty from the Transporter Room. We do a show Saturdays. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Every Saturdays at 7, we interview. Oh, this is my phone. Give me a message. We interview underground artists, some not just hip hop, R&B. We're branching on to different forms and areas of music, producers, everything, sync licensing, all types of things. So if you want to tap in and you want to hear some of the hottest new and up and coming artists, with great commentary from myself, P, Transporter, Project Porter, and Reese, tap in to my channel, Transporter Room Live Artist Review, every Saturday at 7. And yeah, we have a good time. We have a lot of pause moments. We call P Mr. Teaser. You know what I'm saying? We have a
I have a
lot of
quick
fun over
question for
this.
you.
Yeah.
Over at the Transporter Room, you mentioned that well, I'm a panel on there, but I'm gonna ask you like I don't know nothing about the show. So you said you do rap and R&B?
All types of music, all things music.
Are you planning on
related.
expanding to upcoming other artists as well beyond rap and R&B?
Of course. I mean, I'm trying to have whatever. I'm open to a lot of things, but the basis, the foundation is hip hop. So we're
So
going to
what do
have
they
more hip
need?
hop artists than
So
others.
if one of my audience members say, okay, I want to come on the show as an artist, what do they need to have? They need to have a special, like an album
We
out? What do
ask
they need?
the minimum we ask is have at least an EP, which is at least 6 songs that can be found on Spotify.
Okay.
That's all you need. And we'll handle the rest. If it's gas, we're gonna gas it. If it's trash, we're gonna let you know. Simply put. But with the art, that's the music review part. With the artist review, we dig into the background of artists and we try to get into the headspace when they're creating and things like that. So it's a two-pronged approach to the music industry.
All right. So there it is. There's Scotty. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah.
Blessing us on
Clap
episode
it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Yeah. Salute to you guys. I love what you guys are doing, man. And I'll tap in with you guys soon, all right?
All right. Appreciate it. See
you.
you.
Likewise.
Yes, sir. So there we're going to transition right into the where we at? Yep, there we go. Go watch a quick video.
In February, it's Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans with halftime show performer Kendrick Lamar. There was controversy as many thought Lil Wayne should have been the choice. Now the New Orleans native is breaking his silence.
Say it with your chest, mama.
I had to get strength. I had to get strength enough to do this without breaking.
The 41-year-old rapper thanked celebs who rallied around him. Nicki Minaj seemingly blamed halftime show co-producer Jay-Z, tweeting, "One took a knee, the other took the bag."
1, 2, 3, 4.
Of course, Jay-Z's wife, Mrs. Carter, was actually the last singer to perform a halftime show in New Orleans.
So I feel like I let all of y'all down by not getting that opportunity. It broke me. And I'm just trying to put me back together. But my God, have you all helped me?
So there we have it. Lil Wayne getting snubbed for the Super Bowl 59, I think it is. Is it even a snub?
No.
What's your thoughts on that? Kendrick getting it. I mean,
in order to be a snub, it got to be given to you. And if it's not given to you, it's not a snub, right? So that's how I see it. It wasn't given or offered or extended. The courtesy wasn't. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like me, right? if I get a scholarship to go to Central, we're here at Central, right? But you live in New Britain and they didn't give you the scholarship, is it a snub? No. Not because you live in New Britain, it's a snub. You get what I'm trying to say? It was offered to me. If it's offered to me, how could you say it's a snub? And I know he didn't say it, you know? So that's what I wanted to think is like people keep saying it a snub, like it was offered to him. It wasn't. It just happened to be he thought, or whoever thought. We're not putting words in anybody's mouth. My point of view is it should have been him because he's from that city and he has that notoriety and that he has that ability to do something like that. And I think I do see where he's coming from in some ways, because a lot of people that were big for their time and in that rap music got looked over in certain things. Look, they going far back. It's like Missy Elliott, my home girl. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know, things like they going back to old. Look, they went back 20, 30 years to pick people for the Super Bowl, you know, or they got to be top of the charts and stuff like that. And I think Wayne should have it, but you know, it's like they chose Kendrick. So when people call it a snub, I don't like the wording, but I can't get mad at stuff that doesn't pertain to me. But I don't like that wording of calling it a snub.
Well, the only reason they call it a snub is because he's from New Orleans.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Right. But do you think, I guess you're right. You can't really say that because it wasn't like they had a finalist, like say they had a bunch of
that's what I'm saying.
There was no
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. There's only 5 people and you're one of 5.
So only if he was in the running for it, it would be a snub. I would give it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If and was he ever even considered?
Exactly. So if I don't know that information, I would be wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, if they didn't give you a scholarship, right?
Right.
It can't be a snub. You wasn't a contender, and you know, but that's what I'm trying to say. But I could understand. I could understand where he is coming from. Why didn't they consider him? And he's the biggest thing out of New Orleans. You get what I'm saying?
Is he though?
Man, I respect him, so I would call him
right.
big.
But what I'm saying is just like the conversation we was having earlier about the newer rappers and who's out now and who's hot, you know, and the longevity of it, you know.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just don't like the fact that he got on TV and
well, it's his prerogative though.
Right, and started pretty much crying.
This is where I differ, because I try to be. I understand your point of view, and you know we it's like this. We always have different perspective because I see things from a little different way.
For me, that's just for me.
I wouldn't call it crying, P, because it's like this. That's going to open some door when you're strategizing, right? When you're strategizing, it's something in motion, right? We try to look at stuff that's right here. These guys got some kind of extra information that we don't. Why they did that video. There is something at play in the future that they're trying to preposition themselves to be in the right place at the right time to get. We look at things. Well, I shouldn't. Let me take myself out. As regular people, they just look at the moment. They're not prepositioning themselves to make it to the next level. You get what I'm trying to say?
Think so
is that a move for something else? Is that a move to be considered for something else? And that's how I'm looking at it. You know, when you see these people do something, let me put it like this: that young man or that grown man, Lil Wayne, right, has millions. he has lawyers, he has people on his side that till this day probably strategize for him and
Right.
tell him what moves and where he should be in his career and what level. Only people that don't have information look at it as one-sided. Oh, he was crying, and I'm not calling you. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying we look at it one-sided because we don't have all the information. I stopped doing that because I used to be like, oh, they just doing that because they want to get to that, not knowing, hey, in order to make it to the top, there's certain levels you need to get to. That's why I stop complaining about certain stuff and say, when I go someplace and I need to get from point A to point B, when I go to those people, I'm saying, hey, what are the requirements? Let me know that up front. Because if you know the requirements up front, you ain't gonna be crying. You gonna take the actions to get there. Once you're taking those actions to get there, it's gonna work out.
Right, but and what I'm saying is basically you got to accept the fact that you didn't get it. And even if you didn't get it, are you going to cry over it?
But it's a play. You can't call it crying.
So you
It's
think
a play.
he did that to show a lot of remorse for something else?
It's a play, Pete. It's a play. It's a play for
Okay, I
something
can
at
see
work.
that. I take that. I'll wait
The
and see.
news. All right, so let's do it. Biden is doing it. Kamala Harris is doing it. It's a play. Politicians do it on a daily basis. They get up there in front of you and they tell you things, and it's a play, right? Why don't we say Kamala Harris crying when she get on TV and say something? Do you call it
She
crying?
wasn't. No. Okay. Did you see the Lil Wayne interview he did? Well, not the interview, but the video he put out.
No, I seen clips of it, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
if you watch the video, he's pretty much crying, like he was literally saying, I'm holding back tears, and like he's
that's expected in a sense.
Why? No, really?
I'm saying this like this.
Okay, this is supposed to be one of the biggest gangster rappers.
Okay.
Now I would say of our time, but there was a moment from 2000 to 2008. Not 2008, but this 07, 08, 06 is when he dropped them Carter albums, and he was putting out a lot of mixtapes in them time. And he's supposed to be this big, strong thug. I don't give a, and to see him sitting there talking about, oh, he felt this way because he didn't get it, something that he, like you said before, is just like a scholarship. How you gonna be snubbed when you wasn't even invited to the table to begin with? We don't know how they choose this stuff, but all he got to come out and say is, I appreciate everything people saying, I didn't get it, and we'll move on. You know what I mean? But to sit there and be like, it really hurt me that I didn't get it. I really wanted to do it. And come on, bro. Like, really?
I'm gonna push back.
Move on.
I'm gonna push back. All right. Ask you a question. If you get shot, would you cry?
No.
Gangsters get shot every day and they cry like they cry.
If right.
If the biggest gangster, hold on.
Let me clarify. I'm gonna cry.
Right.
But it ain't no different than getting cut by a knife and crying, or cutting by a knife and you can't even feel it because it cuts so fast. You know
right,
what I'm
but
saying?
so the message is right.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter who you are. You could be that little soft kid, or you could be the biggest gangster of them all. They all have emotion and they cry.
I believe that.
We can't put people in box because he's the biggest gangster. You can express yourself.
I see what you're doing there. I see what you did there.
But so now let's say because it hurts, right? Because it hurts, right?
That's why you don't hang around teachers and shit.
Right. And look, it's like this. Right? I try to always be fair. And what I'm trying to say is this. There are going to be some vulnerable moments caught on camera, and it could just be him expressing himself at that time. And when I say vulnerable,
when you set up the camera yourself, it ain't vulnerable. It was planned.
Okay, well, even though it's a plan, it's a move. I think it's a move. I think he got
All right.
something coming. I think
I
it's a
gotta say, you
strategy
know
to
what?
play.
I gotta say, you actually changed my mind a little bit saying that, like, because before I had the mindset where I just thought that, as a man and the one he portrays to be, yeah, there'll be moments when shit hits you hard, but you don't always show that. You just,
Yeah.
be a man about it, because I look at it as him trying to be acting like he's privileged and he deserves that. You know what I mean? But it's not something that you deserve. It's something that could be offered to you, but not everybody gets to play in the NFL.
True.
Not everybody gets to do the Super Bowl.
True.
And not everybody gets to do the Super Bowl in their city. You might,
True.
like, until when Dre and them did it a few years ago, it's never happened before where an
Exactly.
artist from a city has performed in that city. Even,
Right.
Princeton performed in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed.
Right. But pause right there. Hold on. Hold right there. You said
Okay.
something. You said something that one generation is looking up to the next generation. If Dr. Dre didn't do it, right?
Mhm.
If Dr. Dre didn't do it, why did that kid from New Orleans, and I'm just saying, right? Why did
Mhm.
Lil Wayne from New Orleans believe he could do it? Because he's seen it. It was emulated to him. So now he can achieve that. Even though I believe he's at that level where he could attain it without like a Dr. Dre, but it's like this. The way how I'm looking at it, this kid is highly motivated. He's been doing it since he was a kid, right? We're not
Yeah.
talking about a person that doesn't have any talent. His work ethic is out of this world. So I don't want to call him a type A individual, but I want to say a high achieving individual. You can't look at him and say he crying, because guess what? That same level of hard work got him to where he's at. So when he
Right,
gets
right.
to an older age, his level of work his work ethic is still the same.
Mhm.
So you gonna look at it as crying, but he knows where he should be. And if he doesn't feel like he's at that level, you know what I'm saying? You gonna look at it as crying, but to him, he's not at that level. Or because guess when you get to a certain level and you keep breaking records, you're searching for a higher high.
Oh yeah.
And that's probably where he's at. He's looking for a higher high to attain. So people gonna look at it as like, oh, he's not. He is looking to attain a higher heights, and I respect it. That's why I look at certain stuff a different way. I try to say, wow, let me see where he's at. He got millions. I know he got strategists. He
Of
ain't coming out
course.
there and just talking like that.
Nah.
He's around. He's in rooms that we want to be. We're not talking about Diddy and stuff like that. We're talking about, when I say rooms, I'm talking about like he could be in a room with a Bill Gates. You get what I'm trying to say? He could be in the room with a Warren Buffett. He got some information that we don't.
Of course.
And that's what we trying to attain. I want to
But I
be in a
mean,
room where I'm
but
not the smartest person.
there is things that come out that's kind of explains reasons why they think he didn't get it.
And that's okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's no doubt that he doesn't have the catalog to perform in New Orleans, but it's just some of the things that he can perform. Because remember back in those days when he did a lot of mixtapes as well, a lot of some of those hit songs were all on mixtapes where he can perform because they aren't on like DSPs or whatever they call them.
Okay.
But
so yeah,
over the last, I want to say, a couple of years, there's been a lot of concerts where he's forgets in his songs and stuff, and all kinds of crazy stuff that's been going on with him. He just running out on the stage with no set and just mics in their hand. And Kendrick performed in that Super Bowl with Dre as well.
But
Kendrick
look at it. But yeah, that's what I was going to say. All right. So even that, how many artists done that? A lot of artists went out on stage and forget their lyrics.
Yeah, but it's something, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's something to do because Here's what's also happening. This is going to be the first time that a rap artist is the main and only person. That when Dre did it, wasn't Dre, it was Dre, it was
Yeah,
Snoop,
yeah.
it was 50, and it was Kendrick, all under one ticket.
Yeah,
And this
I
is the
get that,
first time Kendrick's going to be the headliner as a rapper by himself. So
and I
who he
respect
decides
that.
to bring, right, and that's what made this so different, and it's never happened before. So
And what I wanted to add to that is, and we got a thing. I know we're talking about Wayne. I love everything that Kendrick. I want him to go out there. I wanted to shatter every record. I want him to. I'm just praying for the best for him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting it's getting overshadowed by everything that's going on. And I
right.
hope that young man, I keep saying young, I hope that he out there practicing, getting everything prepared so he could put on the show of his
Well,
life.
that's how
You know what I'm
TDE
saying?
and them is, man. Him and Dave Free gonna put on a show.
Exactly. So,
You
and
know,
that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to watch it because it's like this. At the end of the day, I'm always rooting. I don't care who it is. I know yeah. I root for everybody. I'm rooting for Drake. I'm
let me
rooting for
say one thing about this. I know Jay-Z was taking a lot of heat. People was saying Jay-Z is basically a snake because he didn't choose Lil Wayne. But you can say what you want about Jay-Z. I'm gonna give him his flowers, right? Because it's kind of alluding to what you just said a minute ago. You want to see Kendrick succeed. And it's not that you only want to see him succeed, it's that you understand when Kendrick pushes an agenda, it's a lot different from other black artists that's in the rap industry. And we all know that, where he may speak about things in his rhyme sometime that's violent, but he's always pushes more of a positive agenda. And the fact that they putting Kendrick out there, I think Jay realized what Kendrick is to the black culture, to hip hop.
Yes.
And
Well said.
putting him out there is basically look at the song he dropped after the beef. I just did watch the party die. Different things like that to spark conversations in the community. The last person to do that, like when did it ever happen when a rapper would say something and the community would follow? It was Jay-Z. He told us don't drink Ciroc. Niggas stop drinking Ciroc. He said don't wear Tommy Hill no more. Niggas fished the FUBU. They wore all this shit. It was so many things that they stopped drinking. Was it Cristal they was drinking when they switched?
Yeah.
They stopped drinking
I
Cristal
think
and
it's
went to
something like
Ciroc.
that.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like a trendsetter of that time. And I think that's what Kendrick is now. And he sees that. And by him putting Kendrick in the Super Bowl, he's gonna put black music, purest of black music. And when you hear Kendrick's black music, I'm gonna just say black music, not, when you look at all the other music out there, and we're gonna say like the Drakes and a couple of artists where it's straight away from where it originated, and I think that's one of the things I'm proud of what Jay did, because Kendrick could have got overlooked. And the world is ready for Kendrick because it's proven on this beef with Drake. Drake was the biggest artist, and if he was the biggest artist, how could the world decide he lost? And it just shows that everybody's honest. There's more honest people out there. And another thing too, with the whole Drake situation, if he has all these loyal fans, all of them would have came out and said that he won. But the fact is, Drake doesn't really have a lot of fans left. It's just that the industry pushes his strong songs through streams, and that's what keeps playing. We always hear these Drake music, and so his fans are always thinking, "Oh, Drake shit is hitting." It's always on the radio. Nah, that dude got hit with some payola backstage for like 100,000 to keep playing the shit. So if you hear that shit so many times over time, you're gonna think that it's a hot song. The one time that, like, say 8 people called in, right, to hear Drake's song for today, right? I'm gonna be playing those clips. What do we got on the call? Who we got on the line? Oh, this is Mr. 12. I want to hear that new Drake song. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna keep pushing it to make it seem
You
like
don't be in
it's a
there.
lot of artists. You know what I'm saying? I know how that shit roll. You know what I mean? He's sitting there with a little envelope under his hat. Hey, I need you to spin this so many times. Yeah, that's what they do. And then remember, we also got a channel Line with us, and we did a breakdown on the what they call them, the bots. Remember the bots?
Yeah.
Because the
Bot
bots
farm.
came up in the Drake Kendrick beef where they talk about the
did?
bots. Oh yeah.
Oh, and we did that video. Yeah, we did that video
Yeah.
a while back.
And basically, I think Drake's been known for using bots. So, like, say if you did a reaction video, I know a lot of the bigger reaction channels have complained about it. So you did a reaction video, the bots will attack you when you post it and leave comments down there, and they try to attack your streams.
Okay. But I just wanted to say, back to the what you call it, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up soon.
Yeah. This one is closing. When you said what you gave the answer for why they chose Kendrick, and it's a play. Like I was telling you, what is the goal and why did they pick Kendrick? You answer that for me in your discussion. It's to provide rap in its kind of purest form to the world. You get what I'm trying to say? If you and it made me think, where I sit back and I was like, who else could provide rap in its purest form in this day and age, and it's hot and has the buzz,
and it's authentic. It's not, and that's the one thing that people overlook. Jay, now they're saying it's not totally up to Jay-Z. They said it's basically Jay-Z helps but it's up to the city to make the final pick. I don't know who made the decision.
But even at that point in closing, right? Who out there has that level and buzz?
No one.
And could provide exactly.
Well, okay, wait. Before this, I would say Drake. Before the beef with Kendrick and Drake probably was the next one. J. Cole, maybe. Drake, definitely. If Drake didn't go into this beef, he would have been the next guy. They may have even chosen him over Kendrick.
Okay. But we'll leave it there. We drop everything there because you created a good point.
Right. To finish what we're saying though, I think we need to big up Jay-Z for choosing Kendrick because, like you said, he brings the purest form of our culture to the world. There is no colonization, there's no bleaching, there is no reference tracks, there is no steroids. You know what I mean? There's no steroids on anything. Everything in there was homegrown, homemade, and that's what I love about what Jay has done. And Kendrick is as pure as he's gonna come. Everything coming out of his mouth, he wrote himself. And he's, and we did the breakdown to Lecrae and D1. Don't be surprised if you saw them at the Super Bowl because D1 is from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of connections in there. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna end this one here. This is our first episode 1. Every Friday nights from 9 until. Stay in your lane. And whatever conversation you want to bring on here, we'll take the argument. Just stay in your lane because you're going to get put in your place. You want to say anything on your way out?
Nah, just it's good. I'm glad to be here.
Skirt.
We out.
Later, Ada.